How to create a document library and setting up scanning profiles with GScan Online. Here, you'll allow the app to communicate with the library and set up as many scanning profiles as you'd like. To start, let's begin by creating our new library. Go to our site contents and click on Add an App and click on Document Library. For the sake of ease, we're just going to simply label ours GScan Online Test and click Create. Let's click on the settings of that library, and here we'll be able to add the columns to which will appear in the GScan Online app shortly in the indexer. We're going to use a standard invoice as an example, considering that most likely everyone has one and typically the same indexing column rules apply. So our first column will be called Invoice Number. Using a single line of text, scrolling to the bottom and clicking OK, we're going to create our second column. We're going to label this column Invoice Date. Using the date and time functionality and scroll to the bottom, we'll see if there's any other additional measure and simply customize it as we'd like and click OK. Let's make another column and we'll label this one Due Date. Again, using the date and time configuration, scrolling to the bottom and clicking OK. And lastly, one more column and we'll label this Total Amount. We'll set the indexing to configure and show as a currency. And at the very bottom, we can actually specify which currency we'd like to use. So here we'll have it in US dollars. And click OK. Now that we've set up our library, let's go to the GScan Online site contents and go to its settings. And here we're actually going to set up the scanning profile. We'll be able to indicate in which libraries the GScan Online app appears in. So at the very top, we'll be able to edit this. And here we'll simply add the GScan Online test library, check mark the box, and click Next. Now we'll simply choose the document library and content type and add all the columns that we've created. So if you remember, our invoice number, date, due date, and total amount, and click Next. And there you have it. With just a few clicks, you created your very first scanning profile. But now we're going to add our profile in the actual settings, and we're going to label this one Go Test. Here you can specify the image source. Perhaps it comes from a file, OneDrive, or any other scanners available, making sure that our default document library is GScan Online Test, and our scanning parameters to 300 dpi. I'm going to use a duplex and make sure everything's in color. Our imaging parameters are going to nearly all be checkmarked. There are just some that I don't need, and typically I don't need to keep color because everything is generally scanned in black and white anyways. And our document separation can then later be adjusted in the app itself. And our export parameters will make sure is a full text searchable PDF. And our OCR settings are currently in English, but should we like to add any other languages, we can select from the list and click Save. Returning back to the main SharePoint site, we're going to click on the GScan Online Test Document Library, go to the very top and click on Files, and click on Get Document. The reason why we say Get Document is because you can virtually get the document from any device. Here we'll have open a window where we have pre-configured all that was necessary in our scanning profiles. I'm going to utilize a Windows Phone captured document of an invoice. It's nearly 2.2 megabytes in file size. As you can see, it's not the most straight photo taken, for the reason being that you're going to see GScan Online's full auto advanced imaging processing features. And as you can see, fully auto cropped, rotated, and deskewed. And now we can simply use our right click for our OCR indexing of our metadata index fields to the right. Our invoice number, invoice date, due date, and the total amount. And remember, at all points in time, you're able to zoom in and out of your document and maneuver just as you'd like to retrieve any of the information that you need. Now we're going to save all our information and return back to the SharePoint site. where now you'll find a full-text searchable PDF waiting for you. This making it really great for the fact that even if you don't remember something that was indexed, but you do know a name stood out, such as Mark, you can simply search for that in the SharePoint search bar and have your document retrieved instantly. And if you remember, the original file size that was processed was a 2.2 megabyte Windows Phone captured photograph. It's now been compressed up to 30 times the original size, which is now 83 kilobytes. And there you have it, you've learned how to create your very own library scanning profile.